So
damn chemtrails.
yeah, I seen you. You brought your little weird science car.
I did. That's the reason why I got that car.
Are we live recording? We're live.
It was one of those, I think we were 15 at the time when Weird Science came out, right? And
85.
Yeah, he pulls around in that Porsche at the mall where we were. And there's a party at Wyatt's house.
Party?
Yeah. It's a party?
And that was a stick, and yours is a automatic?
No, it's a stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a stick. Yeah. The one I had, remember the first one I had? The one I dropped off at your shop years ago. That was a stick too, that first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one was a basket case.
Yeah. Man, I cracked the block in it. Man, I was
Pull the mic back a little bit.
I was rolling. I was speeding down. Well, I wasn't speeding down. It was just a little Honda or something wanted to race me. In that last one I had the Euro, and I slammed it in the second gear and floored it. And it went pow! I'm like, shit.
And that had kind of a hopped up motor, right?
It did. Yeah. It was
like punched out to 5 liter.
It was 5.5 liter.
Okay.
Yeah. It was something else. But yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? You're from Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma City. Yeah. Born and raised. Went to about 8 different schools. Was it Western Oaks, John Carroll? These are my grade schools: John Carroll, Western Oaks, St. John's, Moon, Taft. Those are middle schools. And then you went to Northeast, right?
Yeah. Went to Polk.
Yeah.
Polk 5th Year Center, then Harding, and then Northeast.
Okay. Yeah. Then I was at Northwest Classen, and got kicked out of there. Got expelled from Northwest Classen. Went to Putman City West, using somebody else's address. They found out I wasn't at that address, so kicked me out of Putman City West, the Patriots, and went over to John Marshall's, where I finished my tenure.
Okay, old John Marshall.
Cool. Yeah. Now the old John Marshall, people don't know this, was in Nichols Hills, right outside Nichols Hills, which is kind of like Beverly Hills of Oklahoma City, right? All the nice houses, whatever, right? All it is high taxes. And you get the zip code. I live in Nichols Hills, right? But so anyway, so that's where. So the kids that couldn't get into Cassidy, these are the private schools, Cassidy and Heritage Hall. They all went to John Marshall and McGinnis. Yeah, so they all went to John Marshall. So John Marshall was really a bunch of wannabe thug kids that were living in Nichols Hills but didn't know how to be public school. I was like, man, we've been going to public schools our whole lives, guys.
It seems like whenever we were going out on a fight to fight somebody when we're whatever juniors.
Of course, it wasn't us that started. It was Marquez and everybody else.
Yeah, the troublemakers.
Yeah.
But it seems like we were either fighting guys from Capitol Hill, John Marshall, or McGinnis.
Yeah, really McGinnis too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For some reason, we were just angry.
That was it was the 80s. I mean, we're talking. Those movies that came out. Was that teenage movie with Patrick Swayze and Tom Cruise and The Outsiders.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
And we all thought we were tough.
Knew nothing. Lots of tough, though.
Damn, I miss living at home.
So you made it out of high school. What year was this? 87, 88?
87, 88, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, barely. Yeah. And so after high school, I started modeling for... what was it? Who was it? Joanne Fullerton was here. Remember Joanne Fullerton? Okay, she was up on Britton Road.
Okay.
Yeah, so I, of course, out of high school, what are we going to do? I have no idea. I still at 52, almost 52.
How did you decide, hey, I think I'm going to try modeling and move to L.A.?
Well, okay, so it was a transition. So Joanne Fullerton here picked me up, and I did some stuff for Kim Dawson in Dallas because they had a business relationship. So
I've heard of Kim Dawson.
Kim Dawson, yeah. So they're in Dallas. Okay. So I went down there for a shoot. It might have been for Benetton. Remember Benetton?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was for Benetton. I went down there to do a shoot at the Galleria for Kim Dawson agency. I was kind of subcontracted out to Kim Dawson. They liked my look or whatnot, and they picked me up. And so that's when I moved to Dallas. I was in Dallas 1990. Yeah, 90. Yeah, when Deep Ellum only had 3 clubs down there. Deep Ellum was, it was a video bar, the art bar, 2826, I think was the only thing down there. And trees.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so Dallas is a great town. I was there about a year and a half, or maybe about a year. And through Kim Dawson, the Eileen Ford agency picked me up out of New York. So that's how I got signed with Ford. So their subsidiary was out in California, Wilhelmina.
Okay.
So via that's how I got out to L.A. was through with Wilhelmina, and I moved out there. A friend of mine, JJ Garza, when I moved to Dallas. I still have this, like you, I've known you since the 80s. These cats I met in 1990, and we're still friends to this day. Great guys. JJ Garza, Jimmy, and Scott Ostler. So anyway, so JJ says, man, I'm going out to California. It was just serendipitous that it happened at the same time. I go, well, shit, dude, I'm about to move out there. And I said, why don't we just go out there together? And so we packed up our car. He was out there about 2 weeks before I was. He was working. Do you remember the Magic Pan restaurant? Magic Pan. It was kind of big in California. They had some in Texas, and I don't know if we ever had one here, but it was a French restaurant. And so he was the manager of the Magic Pan. So he had a job already out there working at South Coast Plaza Mall. Okay. And South Coast Plaza Mall, if you think of Beverly Hills Rodeo Drive, that was South Coast Plaza for Orange County in Newport Beach. Okay. So that's where. So we moved to Newport Beach, and I'm 21 now at this time. Left Dallas, got out there at 21, and so he goes, well, we're staying at this house. I met this. I don't think it was his dad's friend's daughter or something. They're from the East Coast, some East Coast kids going out to California. So we lived in this house. It was two. So you got the ocean, you got the beach, right? And then you have the houses that are facing the beach, right? Well, so in California, the street behind that's usually called Seaway or some type of ocean way, right? Mm-hmm. So our house was on the ocean way. So we were literally like a house away from the ocean. And at the time, this house we're down in Balboa Peninsula, Newport Beach. So we're 20, 21. We're down there, and there's 3 girls and 4 guys, and these girls were hot. These are Northeast girls. I mean, their parents were paying for everything. I mean, and of course, me and JJ just working stiffs. He's going to the restaurant. I'm like, well, fuck, well, I can't work, because I wasn't doing a lot of modeling right when I got out there. Mm-hmm. So I started waiting tables with him or at his restaurant. And of course, we're just sitting there looking at, man, we're having a blast. And this house at the time was a 5-bedroom, and I think it was about $5,000 a month to rent. So of course we had, it was like what was that MTV show that had that they all lived together in the 90s? What was that TV show? The MTV. You remember it?
Yeah, Road Rules.
No, I can't. Yeah, they're coming out with a new. Anyway, so it was just like that, and we had to pay our rent, all that kind of good stuff. So come to find out that the house that we were in, or any house that you're in LA at the time, or Newport Beach or whatever, if you can see the ocean, your rent doubles. Okay. And the only place we could see the ocean was from an upstairs bathroom out of a window that was, I swear to God, the window was probably 8 inches by 8 inches. Okay. And so
8.5 inches.
8.5 inches, right? so our rent was like $5,000 instead of like $3,500 or whatever it was. So, and we had a blast. So fast forward, I'm down there for that first summer, and then so Wilhelmina picks me up, or I started doing some modeling stuff for Wilhelmina. Did Versace, Jean Fox-Frey, Joe Boxer, all that kind of good stuff. All through the 90s, I was out in L.A. I come back to Oklahoma. I think I'd see you when I came back to Oklahoma.
That was the first time I remember seeing you post high school. We were at 310.
Yeah,
the only club down there.
That's right.
And everybody started saying, "Jim Foster's here. Jim Foster's
here."
Yeah. And I'm in the pool room playing pool. That's opposite of the dance floor.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
And then I saw you, and you had your hair was all whatever. You looked.
I think it was black at the time.
That you could tell, pick the guy out who lived in L.A. And that was, you had your leather on.
Those jacket. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I always loved coming back here and visiting, because it was just. Because it's always home, no matter where. I could live in L.A. for 30 years. Oklahoma would still be my home because we still know everybody. It's Oklahoma's a great place. I don't want to change gears here, but Oklahoma is a great place. And I'm in mortgages now. I had to find a career besides modeling. So doing mortgages, but now there are so many people moving here from the West Coast and the East Coast because of all the non-freedoms you have out there, right? So so Oklahoma's a great place.
So you were a model for roughly 10 years, all through the 90s. When did you move back for good?
Good, I was right around 2001-ish. Okay. Yeah.
Before 9/11?
Before 9/11, yeah. Matter of fact, when 9/11 happened, I was living at Westwood Apartments right there across from the Hooters on Northwest Expressway. Okay. Out there, Westwood or Weckwood, whatever they're called. Yeah. That's when
or something.
Yeah. So all through the 90s, so I'd go to Europe. I went to Milan, and I was in Paris and did all the fashion shows, fashion weeks. Mm-hmm. That's where Jean Fox-Frey picked me up when I did the Milan one for them. And so that was all through the 90s. And in the meantime, all the other things were happening with our friends Color Me Bad, so that was a lot of fun. I got to see them all the time.
How did you meet them?
Well, we all went to school together.
Okay.
See, I'm officially the fifth member. Okay, because Brian and I and me and Mark. Okay, we used to sing. I was singing with him. This is our freshman year in high school. We're singing in the bathroom. Boom, 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 boom. I got sunshine, right? And so we're singing in the bathroom in our freshman year, and I'm hanging out with Mark and Brian. And then we were going to do something. This is our freshman, sophomore year. You know how friends are. Just go back and forth, dad's house, mom's house, whatever. And then Sam joined the group. And then right after high school is when I started modeling. So so they went that way and I went this way. Not, it was just one of those things. I was with Brian Abrams. We're at Penn Square Mall. This is how Color Me Bad got started. We're at Penn Square Mall. And Brian and I are walking. I think Mark might have been with us. And Bon Jovi just happened to be playing at the Myriad downtown, and Brian was like, "Is that Bon Jovi?" Right? And I thought, "Fuck yeah, I think it's Bon Jovi, dude." So walk over, introduce yourselves, and he goes, and I think I'd already been in Dallas. I think I came back for the weekend or something just to hang out. But anyway, I wasn't here, but I was hanging out with them. We saw Bon Jovi. Well, they got to perform. They said, "Let's sing for you." So they sang for him, and he goes, "Why don't you guys come and open us for us tonight at the Myriad?" So now when I say open, all the lights, the people were still coming in. It's not like the lights were down. They opened up. Here's Color Me Bad, right? Because they were called Take One or something. The first, remember, I can't remember. Their first name was Take One or Take Five or I can't remember what it was, something. But they changed it to Color Me Bad, and so that's how they got started. Was they went up on stage, and the lights people showed muttering, and they sang a few songs. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Irving Azoff was there or something, and their manager picked him up. That's how they got out to New York, and that's when Brian lost all his weight. He drops down to 210 instead of whatever he was at. And they're Brian called me at one point. I was in Dallas, and he says, "Man, we're doing 5,000 push-ups a day and jumping jacks, or something crazy." We're 20. He's 21, 22 at the time, and they're on the roof in New York. They're paying probably a room this big. They're paying like $900. They're eating out of cans, right? They were struggling. They were wanting to get the deal done. Yeah. So Brian, he called me occasionally. And back then, we didn't have cell phones, man. So to get a hold of somebody, you call your mom, you call the mom's house. Hey, is Jim there? No, give him a message for me, right? Then we somehow connect. And but they were eating out of cans and doing 5,000 jumping jacks and 2,000 push-ups, whatever it was, and getting ripped. And let me back up to Dallas real quick. So I'm in Dallas, and Brian calls me. I was in my apartment in Dallas, and the phone rings. And it was a phone that was for you kids that are watching this that are 35 and under. Phones used to be attached to the wall. Okay, you wouldn't go anywhere. You were stuck there on the wall unless you had a cordless, but then you could go about 50 feet away, and then you right. So anyway, so my phone rings. I pick up the phone. I say, "Hey, what's up, man?" Or I go, "Hello." He goes, "Hey, this is Brian." I said, "What are you doing?" Right? I go, "Man, we're in New York and blah blah blah." And just as he called me, he was about to tell me about "Sex You Up." Their song came on the radio. It was the weirdest thing. And he goes, "That's our song in the background." I go, "What?" Because New Jack City had just been released, and he goes, "Yeah, well, listen, we're coming to Dallas. I want to. We'll be there," and whatever it was. So when they show up at the Starplex, I go down to the gate, and of course, this is before cell phones and text. You couldn't do anything except show up when they get there, and the bus rolls in, and Ernie gets off. And Brian, and the gate. So at the Starplex, you're at the gate. It's, I would say, 50 yards from where the artists go in. Uh-huh. So I'm going, Brian. And so he heard me, looks over, and he says, "Ernie, go get Jim." And some girl behind at one point it was some girl, but I found it was Brian's sister because I hadn't seen her in years. So I don't think I'd seen her since she was 10. And she said something. I go, "Man, just leave me alone. I know this guy. Hold on a second." It had to be his sister. He goes, "Well, I'm trying to get a hold of you too." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, shit." It's the funniest thing. So yeah, that I forgot about that story, but we were on the phone and their song came on, and yeah, it was a funny deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you moved back before 9/11, and when did you start getting into mortgages? Did you start partying?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I've always partied. So, that's you understood. It's been partying since 1990. But and now it's 2, and I'm 52, and I'm still I'm like, man, at some point you gotta give it up, buddy.
You gotta slow down.
What's gonna go first, me or the party? And I don't know. We'll find out. But so yeah, so the modeling thing I did was out there, almost 10 years, and did all that. And so the reason I came back to Oklahoma was my grandmother got sick, because we lived over on 21st Street, the big old house, right? I messed apart. So I came back to take care of her.
Okay.
I mean, not really take care of my mom. I'm an only child, right? So my mom, she needed a little help, and so I get back and move back into the house that I grew up in, same room, and I'm there. This is probably middle of 2000, almost 2001, taking care of grandma. Well, so I start bartending, right? I have a degree in modeling, I guess, right? I mean, that's what I have nothing, barely got out of high school.
I know you waited tables.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, got back, yeah, bartend, yeah. Oh, that's the thing. I bartended in L.A. when I was out there, a place called Newport Landing Restaurant. Best restaurant ever. It was just the funnest thing. So yeah, I learned to bartend out there, and I came back here and had no idea what I was gonna do. I had money in the bank, from the modeling thing, and had my car and blah blah blah. I was like, well, shit. So I'm downstairs on the couch one day. My mom goes, "You need to find a job. You need to do something. You're not sitting on your ass." And it didn't matter that I had money in the bank, but you need to get off your ass, get out of the house, go fucking do something, right? And so what am I, 31 at the time, now 32. So I start bartending at the Vineyard Restaurant in Edmond. It's not there anymore. It's the Donnie Samara, the Samara family. The Lebanese people, Lebanese family that owns a bunch of stuff here. They're great guys. So I start bartending there, and not knowing what the hell am I gonna do, right? So a guy named Todd Monday and a guy named Donnie Leonard. Donnie Leonard's dad is the guy that owns the bar, the restaurant. They're sitting at the bar, and I'm waiting on him, saying, "Hey, I think I knew Todd a little bit, but we became friends." And so they go, "Hey, we're opening a mortgage company." 2001. Say we're open Phoenix Mortgage. He goes, "We're open a mortgage company. You want to come work for us?" I said, "Yeah." But that's how I fell into mortgage. Went from slinging drinks to slinging mortgages, and you didn't have to be licensed then either. So I mean, it was the wild west. We started with refinances, and I mean and then 2 years later, I opened my own company, Global West Funding, and and then just from there, it just kept going.
Then did you bartend at night still? Sometimes?
Yeah. So.
You did them. You kind of moonlighted both jobs.
Yeah, well, yeah. I loved bartending. It's just it was so much fun. So I was bartending at Cafe Nova. Okay. Cafe Nova, right? So
we know that.
Yeah. So I've been doing mortgages. It was 2 or 3 years, and so the Deep Fork group needed a bartender, and they knew I bartended stuff, so they wanted me to come work for them at Cafe Nova. Okay. So I was bartending on how Wade was. For you guys, Wade was a manager of one of the Deep Fork groups. Anyway, so he's like, "Hey, let's work on Friday nights." All right. And Friday turned into Friday, Saturday. And then Friday, Saturday turned into, "Hey, can you work Tuesday?" Right? You know how they fucking do. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there, I'm making a shitload. Cafe Nova, when it opened, it reminded me of LA. I mean, or a big city bar, because it was so packed and the tips were huge.
And they had like a grand opening with like The Bachelor.
Well, I can't remember this cat's name, but it was 2005 Bachelor guy. He's from Oklahoma. I think he went to McGinnis. Can't remember his name. So he getting off his notoriety from The Bachelor. They opened up the Cafe Nova, and great food. It was great. It was a great concept. But there was just like Switcher's Lighthouse. Barry Switcher opened something up in the early 2000s, something like that. There were just too many chiefs and not enough Indians, right? If you want to use that vernacular, there are just too many people. No, not enough worker bees.
So you were doing both. You got into mortgages. You were bartending for Wade and Rod and Dave.
Yeah. I was making about literally $1,500 a week at Nova, Cafe Nova, $1,500 a week, cash. What's that? $6,000 a month just bartending, and so.
And I ran into you again about 2010. You were looking for Brian. He was at Shauna's house or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was out there at the pool, the swimming pool, right? Yeah.
So that's when I linked up with you again.
Yeah.
And then it started because I had just moved back to Oklahoma City, and we started going to all the clubs.
Yeah, Baker Street.
Baker Street. City Walk. Lighthouse. It was like. Because usually with my friends before, it was just, I'm going to go let's go here tonight. We're gonna go there and we're just gonna drink and dance or whatever. And when I started running around with you,
You know me,
like,
I jump around.
man, I was like, this is another level.
Yeah.
So we'd hit like 8-7 bars.
Yeah,
by the end of
groovies.
the night. Yeah.
No,
groovies.
no line, no cover. And see, after being spoiled in L.A., not waiting for any.
You knew how to work the system, and you got in. You didn't even need an ID.
No,
We
no,
didn't pay we didn't wait in line. Nothing. It was
no,
just like
nothing
you're
at
in
all.
there. You knew the DJ.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to sing a song, you just went up, told the DJ what songs you were singing, and he'd play them. You had to wait till whatever girl was off stage. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That city. Yeah, you still have one of those videos from
Yep,
City Walk.
I've
But
got
yeah,
several of them.
yeah.
I got a video. This is going to be funny in 10 years.
And I still think I sound good.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And it's the same. You sing like the same 4 songs or something.
Yeah. No, you got your staples, right? You know the
Yeah,
ones that you
yeah,
got that got the range.
So you got and you met Julio, and you started working for another guy that has a big mortgage company.
Yeah. So So the mortgage thing was my own company. Then I quit that. And it was Red Rock Mortgage.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you
Kelly Griggs.
There you go.
Kelly Griggs. I was there for a long time. I say long time. I mean, it was maybe 4 years, and then the crash happened. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This faux crash happened, and so. God, what the hell are we gonna do? You couldn't do a mortgage because nobody had mortgage insurance. There were no secondary lenders or anything.
Yeah, no
that had
lenders.
mortgage insurance. Yeah. So I think I contacted you. What was this? 2009, maybe 2010. I can't remember. But I said, hey, what are you doing? And you were working at Science Museum, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Oh yeah.
At the cafe.
Yeah.
And
So I'm like, hey, you need to come work here.
well, I know because I was married at the time. My wife goes, you need to fucking do something. Because had money.
What year did you get married now? I forgot.
2004.
2004?
Four-ish, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she goes. So I somehow because we were talking. Or I can't remember what I said. So you're working at the cafe. I said, well, let me come and work out there. So I'm working at the cafe with you. What was that cafe called? Science Museum. Pavlov's dog. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, man, you need to. There's other departments that I've thought that you could do.
Well, right? No, yeah. He said, just come up here. So I'm flinging burgers with you and Suzette. Yeah, and I thought you said there was something else, but I remember looking at it. I said, there's a marketing job here, and I go, well, I didn't know about that. So because you were dating the vice president, Suzette Ellison. But anyway, so we said hi to her. So I go, hey. I said, you got a job opening here? Blah, blah, blah. She goes, yeah, what's your resume? So I talked to Darren Ransley, and I gave him my resume. Said, here's what I've been doing. Just, block out all the modeling thing that I thought was cool. And So she saw some of my qualifications and hired me to be the marketing director at Science Museum.
And you're a natural.
And now, man, listen, let me tell you something. I went from making buttloads of money doing mortgages, right? But checks 10, 15, 20,000 a month, whatever it was, right? To the crash, making nothing, got money in the bank, we're okay. Well, get a job. Went there, $35,000 a year is what they started me at. Loved every minute of it, working 80 hours a week.
I remember seeing you in the suit, like the mascot suit.
Oh, yeah.
Times.
Yeah, Otto. OTTO. Yeah, Otto.
And then you were on TV all the time.
Well, that's what I loved out there. I love that job. 80 hours a week. I was doing the morning shows for Fox, Channel 9. We were. What's the mission statement to the relevance of science to? Anyway, it's whatever the mission statement is. That's what I was doing, and to raise the brand because we called it the Omniplex when we were kids.
Oh yeah,
and they were having a challenge getting people just to say Science Museum Oklahoma because everyone says the Science Museum Oklahoma. Omniplex, whatever. So I was brought in to raise the brand and to
because they didn't have.
They had no direction.
Everybody still called them, and that was like a inside thing.
Yeah,
there's still Omniplex listed on a lot of the stuff.
In there. No, the Omniplex is still on the highway. Yeah. When you're getting off on the exit, people are going, "Where the hell's the Science Museum, Oklahoma?"
And they would get so upset when you'd say the Omniplex, or if they would hear it or see it. And it's like you guys, like on the pallets and on the equipment in the back and the upstairs.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and I told Suzette. I said, Suzette, listen, here's what we need to do. If you guys, we need to do a campaign. Let's do a campaign, and let's get rid of the Omniplex for the whole world, right? And Suzette, if it wasn't her idea, it really never got done. So, needless to say, I went to her with many ideas that never got done. And this is one of them. I had this great idea to do because they had commercials. I said, let's just do a commercial where the Omniplex goes, come down to the Omniplex, right? And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the commercial, like 5 seconds in, Omniplex starts to melt down into an hourglass, and then it morphs into Science Museum Oklahoma. That way people can visualize that, hey, we're no longer the Omniplex. Omniplex is dead to us, and we're doing the Science Museum. But anyway, needless to say.
It's going to just take forever to get that, like generations. Because
yeah.
if you're raised on that from 0 to 50, it's going to be another 50 years before that's gone again.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and especially since they're not doing anything about it. But so that was the funnest job. That's the funnest job I've ever had. Was I started $35,000 a year, working my ass off, loved it, and so I was there a total of 3 years. The second year I was there, I got my raise, said, hey, here's where I need to be, make me happy this year, blah blah blah, because I knew how much she was making, and she didn't do shit. So, needless to say, so the third year they bumped me up to what I asked, somewhere around 70, 80, something like that. And so third year I was there, and I was gonna say that I was gonna stay on with them. I just wanted one more bump to get me up to around 100,
But we knew.
Yeah.
We knew something was.
Yeah. So
that's my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. For those you don't know, Kurt dated Suzette. Cuckoo. And so there was that, right? And so if you were friends with Kurt, all of a sudden they're broken up, and now Suzette's on the warpath. And anybody that knows Kurt, and so there was a few people that ended up leaving.
She had you in the crosshair.
Oh fuck yeah!
But she was smart about it. She waited.
Oh,
like
she's
over a year.
Oh yeah. She's cunning.
I was gone.
Yeah. She was very cunning, and they brought this new guy in for Darren Ransley, the whatever that guy did. So anyway, but yeah, but the funnest job I ever had.
Yeah,
loved it.
I loved it. I'm just running the cafe.
Yeah, no, it was.
Insane.
I mean,
I brought everybody that I knew in, Marcus and Ernie.
Yeah.
I brought a ton of people.
Yeah, I remember when Ernie was working up there.
Yeah.
It was fun job. And I knew how much she was making. I said, hey, here's what I want to be at, and blah blah blah. But the problem with a nonprofit is there's really no room for growth.
Yeah.
So I went back into mortgages.
Ultimately, it was a good thing to just go because you had your time.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I miss doing all the TV shows and because I'm a big ham anyway. Camera where?
Camera.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
So
you got out of there and went back to.
I went back to mortgages. Yeah,
you helped me do one of my loans.
I did. Yeah. So I just fell back into mortgages. Things work out. God, there's a God and there's a devil, people, in case you don't know that. There's things work out, right? God has a plan. I'm not saying we're predestined because we can make our own free will living choice, but there's a plan and things happen, right? So I'm leaving Science Museum, Oklahoma, and going to go back into mortgages. Not a big deal because everything had kind of calmed down by then, right? The market was back. You got your secondary market rolling. Tranche loans were flying through, blah, blah, blah. So it was a good time to get back in. Well, before I got Science Museum Oklahoma, Red Rock Mortgage, right? Mm-hmm. So we had to get licensed. So we got our license, spent the $800, took the fucking test. Anyway, so it was hard. It was a fucking hard ass test. So I got back to mortgages, and I was literally I was 2 months before I'd have to redo everything. So I got out just in time to go ahead and just do my continuing education. Mm-hmm. So the whole point was, if I would have waited another 8 weeks, I would have to start all the way back at ground at square one, take the test, and do all that stuff, and it would have been a nightmare and get re-licensed and all that shit. And it would have taken.
I hear about a lot of the stuff, like it's just like a money grab, trying to get you the continuing education and all that with realtors and with mortgage brokers and
so it's a cottage industry. So you guys are going to learn pretty fast my stance on a lot of things.
We're going to get into this.
Yeah. So being licensed, right? Being licensed is.
Let me stop because we were talking about your modeling, but I think I've got some pictures to come up. Some of your modeling.
It's not the one for Playgirl. Okay.
No, it's not that one. It's the other ones, and we're gonna.
Cool.
We're gonna play those, but those were some of the pictures you
that I sent. You know what? Hey, matter of fact, the ones I sent you. Yeah. And
what companies were they with?
So this is all Eileen Ford and Wilhelmina.
Okay.
Wilhelmina, yeah.
Did you got the makeup girl doing all your stuff? Before
I
you
missed
take
that.
pictures?
Yeah, I was pampered.
I
But hey,
remember
not as pampered as models are. It's a tough fucking job.
Huh.
It's tough. It is, because you got to get up. It's like rolling in your fucking apartment at 6 o'clock in the morning after leaving the discotheque, you know, at it's called Lollapalooza in Milan. All fucking night had to be in a makeup chair at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I don't think I loaded a picture of your mom, but you sent me a picture of your mom like 2 years ago, and I was like, goodness gracious.
She's hot. Which, yeah. I know.
I'm gonna bring that one up later. Post.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, she's amazing, and this was like in the '60s, I guess.
Yeah, she was 24.
God,
the one I sent you. So
I wish I had loaded that one. But
67. See, I think I was born 2 years later.
she looked like a young, the girl Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
She looked like a young Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. Well, it had that 60s vibe.
Era.
Oh yeah. 60s are of course, I was born in '69, the last good year.
Yep.
But I love the '60s look, the go-go boots. You know, just that. I love it.
Sundress and go-go
Sundresses.
boots,
Yeah. No bra. I don't ever wear a bra, by the way.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to what were we going to?
Well, it's about the mortgage industry. You know, being licensed. You know what a license is, right?
Vaguely.
A license is a right that the government takes from you and sells you back.
Yes.
Right. So, but with that said, there are certain things that I think you need training on. Doctor, lawyer.
Yeah.
Our industry, it needed a little
training.
Yeah, doctors, a little bit of training. You know, yeah. Nowhere to cut. Follow the dots.
Cut around here.
Yeah, right. Okay. Attorneys, lawyers, things like that, and finance. Because I was flirting with getting my Series 7 way back when. But so I guess my point in saying that is that there are things that need to be regulated, because it's a wild, wild west. So you had to be licensed, and that helps. Back to your point about it's just the CE money, right? Well, that's what they do. It's a cottage industry. Right?
Got a lot of realtor friends that just every few months or every 6 months or every year, it's like it went from 400 to 600 to 800, and it's like, goodness, just enough already. But
yeah, well,
I'm not a realtor, so
well, I mean, but it's like that everywhere. So you get licensed in your CE. It's a cottage industry. So the Hungarian dialect, right? Top down, bottom up, inside out, right? It's what we call thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, right? The government creates a crisis. Right? So you have to get licensed. So they made this cottage industry. Right, so you got to pay for this, pay for that, right? It's just, it is what it is, and we're just in the boat riding along with them. All right, where are we going next? So
nice. And you're big. What are you, big '80s guy, right? Don't you love that?
Oh,
every time I get in your car, it's like '80s all the way.
Dun. Hey! Don't you forget about me? Great, best. That's my number one song.
What about the music that? I feel it's almost like I feel sad for these kids, because when I was a kid, 12, list all the music that we heard on the radio, like KOFM.
Yeah.
I mean,
Duran. I mean, you name it, Hall & Oates. You name all the 80s icons. It was on there.
Went from like soft rock to rap to all of that stuff that was played on the radio. And now it's just like there's no easy listening. Hall & Oates or Phil Collins or Genesis.
Yeah, the closest one to that, and for people that are listening that are living in the other states that have their oldies station, here in Oklahoma it's KOMA, right? I remember as a kid, KOMA was playing CCR, Cream,
Beatles,
right? And
now they're playing
our shit. I'm like, what? When did this happen? Fucking turn on KOMA and you hear Ice Baby.
Or Aha.
I'm like, I said, whoa, let's back this train up, man.
You remember being in high school and we'd see somebody that's 29 driving around with their girlfriend. We're like, there's an old man,
I know,
with a pretty girl or whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, and there's a gay area here in Oklahoma that I go to all the time. The gay district, 39th. They call it the district.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, whatever, please. They Angles and the Copa, and there's great bars down there. They're coming back. Things go through its ebb and flow, up and down.
I heard
down.
Angles was back open.
It is, yeah, it is. It really is, yeah.
Best music is that whole corner. You can't compete with.
No,
that
I know.
music.
And Shannon Desire, the DJ, great music. See, I'm a
DJ Carl.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Who was
Carl
the guy?
McConnell.
Okay.
Carl McConnell. Yeah.
He's
Good friend of
awesome.
mine. Yeah. He used to cut hair at Supercuts back
Okay.
then. Yeah.
So you used to dance at the park. Is that what you said?
Well, that was only when I was getting paid. No.
Okay.
Yeah. The go-go dancer guys, right?
Huh.
So the music, we sound like our parents.
Yeah.
Because I swear to you, I listen to music today. And so there's some, the weekend has some good, right? And there are outliers, there are one-offs that you hear something, oh wow, that's cool shit, man. But for the most part, and I'm trying not to sound like my parents did when I was a kid, because we were playing Duran, all the synth, Depeche Mode, right?
The Cure.
And I guess to a certain extent it kind of sounded the same, maybe, but it really wasn't. But
Devo. I mean, we had.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at
yeah,
all
yeah.
the variety.
Yep.
And not that this music is bad. It's just all the same.
Right.
There's no dichotomy. With
There's
the
not.
music.
Where's that line of demarcation? It's really like it's packaged, canned, and sent out.
Mm-hmm.
Every generation says it though,
Yeah.
right? Maybe
But
maybe
you
these
could-
kids.
I mean, I don't know what argument would be for the '80s music, because you had so much diversity in the music.
Yeah.
Those British bands coming over here.
Yeah.
It was bananas. It was a music fest.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Band-Aid and all that
Farm
stuff.
Aid and all that stuff there in the 80s. Yeah.
and all those, like Lionel Richie and
Mm-hmm. Queen.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
Freddie Mercury, Jesus, Joseph
Yeah.
and Mary.
Yeah.
You can't. There's nobody like that right now that I'm aware of.
No, there's not.
It's just I
Yeah,
feel bad,
it-
and
is it-
I kind of indoctrinated my children. Like,
Did you teach them well?
oh
Did you-
yeah, and you get in my son's car, and he's playing Eagles. He's
Okay, yeah.
He's not listening to whatever Cardi B.
Right.
He's listening
Yeah.
to 80s,
Yeah.
70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, and not not take anything with the artists, but it's and hanging out with Color Me Bad back in the day and the videos and all that stuff, and seeing how the kind of the inside worked. It just seems all processed now, I guess.
I've messed around with Brian for some years, like when they split up, and I opened my little studio up to record some stuff, and God, I remember just like him telling me about all these names, like Ernie Azoff, and
Irving Azoff, yeah.
and all these other names that are high up, and it was ugly.
Yeah.
That business is ugly.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to be nice, but it's
No, it is,
nasty,
yeah.
filthy, nasty.
They got a raw deal
People are
too.
just horrible,
Mhm.
stealing from them left and right.
Well, yeah, you saw that. Who was it that went broke? Left
MC
Eye.
Hanner.
No, Left Eye. But him too. But he was spending his money. But Left Eye. What's that group's
Yeah.
name? It'll come to me. So anyway,
believe it.
so they go broke. Color Me Bad got a bad deal. They were the bad deal because New Jack City just hit. They've signed a contract with not Irving, but
Giant.
Adele. These guys out of New York, and
They just started that record, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Giant?
yeah.
They just started that.
Yeah. So their managers at the time got like their next 5 albums or something. And I remember being with
And the
Brian.
managers, it seemed like, from what I've heard from, and I used to take Brian to go get his checks to the CPA office, and it was just like their managers. Back in the '90s, when they were hit, they were on TV all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
They were in concert. It was horrifying to know that they had just been robbed by millions of dollars.
They ain't making
I would have
jack.
been an alcoholic, and I don't even drink much. It would be horrible.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
have got on heroin and all of them.
yeah. Oh, I know.
Just
Yeah,
knowing
but
that
they're
nothing.
selling out stadiums. I'm down in Irvine selling out stadiums. Houston Astrodome. I mean, just
They're on
millions.
tour with Paul Abdul.
Yeah. Well, it was MTV Music Tour, I believe. Paul Abdul.
It's horrible.
Paul Abdul. And Color. Yeah. Maybe CNC Music. I can't remember.
It's a nasty business, and whenever my friends, a few of them that are their children want to get in it, because I've heard them, oh, I'm going to be a rapper or whatever, and I'm just like, man, tell your son don't get his hopes up, because it's just.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's still like that. The good thing about technology is that you no longer really need the A&R guy, You know, I mean, you do to a certain extent, I guess, with connections and maybe, a handshake here and a wink there get you into, but I mean, hell, you can,
Nowadays.
if you have something and it's good, you can put it out, and if it sells, and then it can create its own synergy.
I listened to Michaela Peterson's podcast, Jordan Peterson's daughter.
Uh-huh.
I'm a podcast guy.
Oh, I like Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michaela had on Young Gravy, he came to light through SoundCloud.
Okay.
5, 6 years ago.
Okay.
When you still could do that, he said. But he's got a cult following. It's hard to explain.
It's got, that's how
He's got
the Grateful
a group
Dead
of people. Yeah. Like the
yeah.
Deadheads.
Yeah.
That are following this guy. He's 24 years old. He's a white guy, blonde hair, little goatee, 6'7", like 150 pounds. And he's got a very deep voice, and it's the dirtiest lyrics. It's like the 2 Live Crew.
I'll need to Google him.
He's the 2 Live Crew of today, and I've never heard of him.
Or the Cardi B, WAP.
Oh yeah, he's talking about stuff that they can't even play him on the radio.
Right.
That's how bad it is.
Right.
You can't, because it would all be just.
He's kind of like Guar. Those guys that are, they got a, they got this cult following because hard to understand him.
But if he goes to a concert, he sells out. He's just.
What's this guy's name?
I forget his name, but it's Young Gravy. YUNG Gravy.
Okay.
It's pretty fun, and his songs are actually good. I like listening. The music is good, and he takes like Mr. Sandman from the 50s.
Yeah, Mr. Sandman.
He paid to have that all through his song.
Okay, so
I think it's called.
So he sampled it and just kept
it, and it's through the whole song. He didn't care if it what it cost. He just did it, and it's a great song.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
it's almost funny. It's like listening to 2 Live, but a little more. It's a little more updated.
Right. After this, I'll Google and listen to this guy.
I don't usually, like to throw out all that, but he's just so funny, and he was an executive at an engineering firm. When he got out of college. He's very intelligent, and he had to hide his face when he was putting all the stuff on SoundStream, putting videos out,
right?
Because he didn't want all these people to find out what he was doing,
right?
And then when somebody heard him, and he started making a lot of money, and he got a record deal. And then they found out, and they're like, "Bro, what are you're Young Gravy, the rapper."
Fired. You're fired.
It's a hilarious story.
Yeah, so that just shows you. Technology. You can produce your own stuff on your phone practically nowadays, right? So, yeah, and sampling. Just a little trivia for everybody out there. The first sampling that really took place was Rapper's Delight. Rapper's Delight. It was Chic.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of the first sampling, and they got in trouble because that's kind of what keyed in my mind. The guy, he didn't care if he had what he had to pay. But yeah.
And you think about Beastie Boys. Sample Heaven.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then they kind of broke all the record labels came down on top of it and got it under control, but some of those 80s stuff was awesome because it was all sampled, and
Beach was great. So
2000. Now, when did you start with the conspiracy stuff, all like flat earth? Are you still into flat earth?
Well, okay, yeah. So number one, it's not a conspiracy when it's true, but with that said, my family's in the Air Force, right? Dad, mom, uncle, cousins, Air Force, right? Flight commanders, squadron commanders, right? Vietnam, right? So I grew up from my dad, Earth's flat or stationary. He said stationary. He never said flat. Flat is kind of an overused term. We're a geocentric construct, stationary.
So it's kind of like global warming. No more global warming. Now we're doing climate change.
Exactly right. They'll change it all just to keep maneuvering. That's the new religion. Climate change is a new religion.
You got that right.
Yeah, yeah. So I grew up knowing that the Earth was, not a ball, and it wasn't really a big topic. It was just something that it was, right. So after 9/11, 2001, 9/11, I was on the bandwagon for about 4 months with, fuck them, God, Muslims this, Muslims that, right? So, but my uncle had called me and he says, "Hey, this, I think I had a cell phone, but look into this, blah, blah, blah," and because somehow we connected. So anyway, I started looking into 9/11, and it took me from September to December January, 4 or 5 months to figure out it was an inside job. And people, and nowadays it's really more accepted with people that, yeah, the government has something to do with it, right? Now I say the government, it's the New World Order. The New World Order has been, the rebirth of the New World Order was when the Berlin Wall came down, November 9th, 1989. That was the rebirth of the New World Order. There was a first order of things of the world order. That was the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire. So so the Bible, beast was wounded to the head. Everybody gazed at it, came back to life. That was the Berlin Wall coming down. The beast came back to life. That's the New World Order. So the Ottoman Empire fell 1923, and that was the beast, came back, blah, blah, blah. So dates are very important in this Luciferian-controlled New World Order system. Dates, numbers, right? Numerology, symbols, right? They'll never say, hey, we're going to kill you tomorrow, right? They're cryptic. They use symbols and things that only the people that are in the know will understand or try to understand, right? So to answer your question, I've always been a flat earther. And Earth's not flat. All right, so we got mountains and hills, bro. Whatever. Okay, I understand it's not a fucking plate. All right, I get it. So, take your sophomoric, attitude and move on down the road. If you want to have a conversation, let's do it, right? So I always knew it was stationary construct, right? Never thought twice about it. So 9/11 happens. I'm like, wow, blah, blah, blah. Start researching. So that's kind of when all this stuff started percolating in my mind about, holy crap, I need to look into this more, find out if I can find out what's really going on. Because here's the thing. God did not set up the rules of, this. The prince of this earth is Satan. Jesus says you're the prince of it's in the Bible, right? If you believe in that sort of stuff, folks, I don't want to turn my agnostic friends or atheist friends off, okay? I get asked to speak at certain places quite a bit. Come speak, come talk, blah, blah, blah. I always start my talks off with, are you agnostic or atheist? Raise your hand, right? A few hands go up, okay? All right, for my Christian friends, who's Christian? Raise your hands. I said, right now we're not gonna bring God or the devil into this at the moment. We're just gonna talk what's happening, because I don't want to turn the agnostics off, atheists, right? I want you guys to listen to what I'm saying, because once you start spelling God and the Bible and blah blah blah, it just turns those people off, which is fine. Okay, whatever. I can circle back around, because why?
Circle back around. That's funny.
Because by the time I get finished with my discussion and my talk, it all boils down to what was the heliocentric model about. And when I say heliocentric, what is the round earth model about? Right? What's it all about? It's about disproving the existence of God. End of story. So the Jesuits, Catholic Church, big cult. Dad's Catholic. I went to Catholic schools. It's a Catholic Church. It's gonna, the Pope might be the false prophet. I don't know. I haven't really quite figured all that stuff out yet. I pray for discernment and wisdom. I do that all the time, because I don't want to be spouting a lot of crap, right, and lead somebody down the wrong path, right? You know what I'm saying? Man, Foster told us to come down here. No, what the fuck? No, you're killing us, right? I don't want to be that guy, right? So before I run my mouth on stuff, I'm as sure as I can be, with God's grace and everything, that what I'm saying is going to be true. And I always ask that in prayer too. I said, Lord, this don't want me to know this, whatever. Don't, because I don't want to tell people something, right? And I don't want to be that false prophet, David Koresh up there, or whoever beat the Bible going, follow me, right? I'm not that guy, but I will say, here's what it looks like. I'll follow you, I'll go along with you, but I'm not leading you. I'm like, because I don't know if because I'll stand by my convictions. Don't get me wrong. So grew up knowing the earth was stationary, right? So after 9/11, found out it's an inside job. Okay. Our government had everything to do with it. There's something called predictive programming. I mentioned a few minutes ago about how the devil is the prince of this world. The devil has dominion over this world. He was given the earth when Adam and Eve sinned, right? And for people that think they ate a real apple, I just want you to know they didn't eat an apple. It's a metaphor. They actually went and got knowledge that they shouldn't have gotten, right? And there's some debate on whether it was really a serpent or, and it's my mind's eye, Satan was a, he was the morning star in the Bible, Isaiah, right? So the morning star, so he was a bright being, just glowing. So so in Eve, said, all right, whatever, I'll try the apple. Hey, Adam, come here, be my new friend, right? So anyway, so that's when the earth became, again. So this is Earth's second generation per se. This isn't God's Genesis, right? As far as in Genesis, the Bible, that's not God's first Genesis, right? That's our Genesis, who He made. There was an earth here before here, okay? And Nephilim, I mean, we go way back, right? So there was a prior earth here, destroyed. Bam, here we are with us. Then the flood happens. Blah blah blah. So, it goes. It's it's there. I get to that at some point if you want, but to keep this going, so we ate of the apple, prince of this world, right? So God did not set up these rules for us not to know, right? The only power the devil has over us, this guy over here, this guy right here, you right there, is deception. That's it.
Deceit.
Lying, deception, lie. Yeah, that's right. That's all. That's the only power he has. It's really no power at all, right? There is a couple of cutouts. There's a couple of one-offs. If you ask for it, so the devil can't possess our bodies unless we open that door. He can't arbitrarily come in and take your body over unless you're in that realm or God's using you for another purpose. Okay? I'm sitting here right now. The devil cannot enter my body unless God wants him to or I invite him in. So the only power he has is deception. And as it goes, that's all he needs because we're some dumb motherfuckers. I look at it like this. There's stuff I talk about like, hey, 600-pound gorilla, right? You and I wake up in this room. There's a 600-pound gorilla. We wake up. The gorilla's not. He looks dangerous, or what we perceive might be dangerous, but he's not doing anything to us. So we make our lives around this 800-pound gorilla, right? So the metaphor is that 800-pound gorilla is the New World Order. We don't know that they're on this agenda. I mean, we do now because the veil's being pulled back. A lot of people are becoming in tune with what's really going on. But you say this in the 90s and early 2000s, they're like conspiracy theories, right? So we're busy with our lives, partying, working, party, right? I don't have time to talk about this crap. So
that's me. I don't have time. Oh. That's why whenever you get into a discussion with somebody when we're out somewhere, I just kind of get a smile and I'm just like, I'm going to leave them alone for a little while.
I've turned into an evangelist, man. I talk about it everywhere I go if I can. Because
you do. We could be dancing and somebody could say something. Oh, flat Earth, right? Mm-hmm. You're right to his table.
Yep. Like, hold on, wait, listen. I got something for you. And I'm becoming a better listener as I'm getting older. But so really the last 8-9 years I've been a ardent, hey, listen, because once you understand the earth is as God said in the Bible, there are over 200 verses in the Bible, maybe 300, about the geocentric construct that we live in, right? In the Bible. So God made us the center, and I do a lot of writing. I write a lot. There's a writing I have.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, no, I write a lot.
A while back, you were
Did I send you? I said, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jim,
no.
Now, by the way, Jim is like the epitome of Facebook jail.
Yeah,
You've
right.
been kicked off Facebook.
I'm in it right now. I'm in it right now. I opened up a new account because both my things are in Facebook jail.
You've got like 6 Facebooks on my Facebook, and I'm like,
yeah, I know.
You get kicked off. I don't know. You get kicked off Facebook more than you get kicked out of clubs.
Oh, and I still can't get into Groovies.
Yeah, you kicked out.
They still. If anybody's listening that knows David at Groovies, tell him I want back in, please.
We told. Remember, on our birthday. Was it your birthday? We all went up there. Me and the whole crew went up there, and we're like, please let Jim in on his birthday. And they're like, no.
Yeah, no.
Punched too many people.
Well, but it wasn't my fault. This kid at the
Your arm just flew out, right?
Yeah, no, well, he started it. Mom. Like, I don't care who started it. I'm like, but
and I'm never there. I always hear about it, and that's just like, oh God, man.
I know I can't be doing. I was at 48 at the time, still fighting at 48. Yeah. But
because somebody looks at you wrong, or they say something.
Well, no,
and you're just like, man. It's not today. It's just going to be boom.
Well, it's okay. See,
kicked out.
back in high school, it kind of maybe like that, but now, I mean, 35, 45 years old, they do. I mean, this guy said something to this girl. He was a bigger girl, right? And he said something fucking rude. I'm like, listen, what the fuck did you just say, right? He's trying to punk this girl out, you know, and so that's where it all started. I'm like, dude, don't shut your fucking
And the
mouth.
thing is, you're unassuming because you're like a little bit shorter. You're like 5'9". You're not short for a guy.
5'11", but
5'10",
6 foot
5'9", and you're really good looking. So these
thank you.
meatheads are going to be like, okay, I'm going to knock this guy's head off, and then you blow his face out.
Yeah.
Because you've been in so many fights, you understand how to
exactly, yeah,
your punch.
yeah, exactly right, yeah, I always hit with that knuckle right there, but yeah, and they've de-escalated because as being older, it's like, man, you know, just chill out. But this guy says something to scroll anyway, I got kicked out of Groovy, so that's where that is. So yeah, so I'm in Facebook
You
jail.
get kicked out of a lot of places.
Well, I have.
Have you been kicked off Instagram or Twitter?
No,
Surely.
I closed Instagram because all the stuff they're
okay.
doing with the tracking, all that stuff. I closed that, but no, yeah, just Facebook for sure.
Facebook
yeah.
world
and
champion.
local clubs.
Yeah.
Thank God my mom hasn't kicked me out of the house yet. So going out, you know, and evangelizing now about where we live, because I'll tell you something, and I mean this. Once you understand that the earth is stationary, everything
Is it flat or just stationary or both?
well, it's flattish. You know, we have mountains and hills.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I mean it's
there's an edge. We just haven't found it yet.
No, we found it. Yeah, it's what they call the Antarctic, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, the Antarctic is not the Antarctic because it's not a globe, right? Antarctic's down here. Bullshit. It's the rings around, and they put it in our face all the time. This is what I said a few minutes ago. I'll finish that thought. They can't hide anything from us. God did not set up the rules that way, right? He set it up to where everything is available to us if we want. Seek and thee shall find, right? I mean, it's all in the Bible, folks. If you don't like God or don't believe in it, just read it. It's just a book. There's a lot of stuff in there, and learning it every day, learning more every day. But God didn't set up the rules for the devil to have a dominion over us. You know, he can lie to us all day long, which he does, and he does a very good job at it because we're busy. It's that 600-pound gorilla. We don't know he's lying. We don't care. Whatever. I'm busy. You're busy. We're partying. We're family, right? So I understand that people don't want to get, you know, put too much brain power in it, but we're at the apex right now where that you need to know. You know, whether you believe the earth is round or flat, you can push that to the side, but you need to understand that there is a new world order. You know, and people are more open nowadays. I've been talking about this crap since 2009.
What about the moon landing? Did that happen?
Yeah,
Or are you part of that?
No, no moon landing. It's all the big deception, right? And why did all this come about, right? What's the whole reason for the heliocentric model, the round world model? Is to disprove the existence of God. That's it.
Can we pause?
That's in a nutshell.
I gotta get in on this conversation.
Pull up a mic.
Can I pause? Just pause.
Pause, yeah.
I mean, let me pause. But how you guys feeling though? This is going great.
Oh, good. Yeah.
This is the first one we've done, so I would love to conversate with you on this too. Post this show if you just.
Oh,
keep
for
going.
sure. Yeah, I love talking about it.
The
Yeah.
things that I will say might influence you. A
Oh,
little
good.
bit.
Okay. Yeah. That's I love talking because I don't know it all.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I don't either.
Yeah,
but,
right.
like,
Exactly right. Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
I do want to. Because like I'm like you. I love to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's a passion. It's for sure
Yeah.
is.
But I do have one recommendation, because I do this a lot, is like, talk about the motives of something a little more. Like,
Okay.
you're bringing up 9/11 and
Mhm.
stuff. Talk about the motivation of why they would want that, like the NWO or NWO
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like, does that make sense?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
The motivation was
Get into the meat of it, kind of thing. Like,
Well, yeah.
why?
I'm just asking. Yeah, a little bit more
No.
why. That
Okay,
way
yeah.
your audience understands a little more. That's it.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know the why.
Good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
Cool. Sorry to like.
No, don't mind at all, dude.
Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in just
Yeah.
so you start thinking about it a little more.
Yeah, totally.
So, okay, I do interviews all the time. So.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do a lot of them.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you interviewed my mom. Really, you were right to the right to the meat of it. You
Oh
found
yeah,
out
like
she was a
I
master
dig
gardener.
in. I dig in quick because I know where I'm headed.
And I want to
I'll
get.
even
That's
lead.
why I'm doing this, because I want to be a better listener
Yeah.
and be a better interviewer.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
mainly listener, because I usually just like when I was talking about before. It's like if we were at a club and he started.
No, I
talking,
know.
I'm
Yeah,
just
he'll-
like
he'll-
whatever.
he'll-
I'm gonna go get
cheat,
my
you know.
time to refill.
Yeah.
You know, hit the
Yeah.
dance floor, chase tail. Whatever.
Yeah,
Anything
totally.
but talk to Jim.
Right.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, we're going.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'll.
Now,
here's-
why is this now? Tell me about why do you think this is going on?
Well, so whether you believe in God or not, devil or not, right? We're going to a one world government. I think that's pretty clear nowadays, right?
Even on some of the conservative things that I listen to, they talk about that,
Good. Yeah.
like a one world government kind of thing.
Yeah. It's Agenda 21, Agenda 30, right out of the UN, Sustainable Development. Right, this is where we're going. This is the plan. This has been the plan the whole time. So a little. Let me give you a little dates calendars here. Okay, so the beast was wounded to the head. I think Revelation 6 maybe, and then everyone gazed after the beast as it came back to life. Right, you know those verses, right? So that was the beast coming back to life was the Berlin Wall. From my assessment, and I'll be the first to say if you got something else, let me know. That the Berlin Wall coming down in 1989 was the rebirth of the New World Order. Okay, I'm gonna blow your mind here in a minute. Okay, George Bush, the dad, gave his New World Order speech. So Berlin Wall, New World Order speech, Agenda 21 ratified. Right. So those three things. Three is the number. Three is a powerful number. 369. So what day did the Berlin Wall come down?
November 9th.
November 9th. What is that in numbers? 11/9. Right?
9/11. Okay.
Okay. Well, right. So when do you think George Bush gave his speech? 10 months later. So 10 months later after the Berlin Wall came down. 10 months later. 10 months is 10 is completeness in Luciferian numerology.
I'm giving you my Spock eyebrow.
Yeah, it's like,
what?
yeah. So 10 is completeness, right?
Okay.
So 10 months later, George Bush on 9/11, 1990. 9/11, 11/9, November 9th, 10 months, 9/11. Okay, he gave his New World Order speech. Fast forward, New World, and you can Google it pops up. We have to forge a great New World Order, and it's my mom hated the Bushes. She knows they're evil. So New World Order speech, and then in June 6, so 6/6/91, I think, was the ratification of Agenda 21. Okay, so after the New World Order speech, after that middle part, what happened 11 years later? 11 is another powerful number. It's a powerful number in Luciferian math and numerology. 11 years later, on that date, what happened on 9/11? 9/11, right? So don't think all this is a coincidence, folks, okay? So once you're able to see the dates and the times, and you can start getting a bigger picture or understand the picture. So 9/11, that was the engine of the New World Order being turned on. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, what did we get? So I said earlier, Hegelian dialect, right? Top down, bottom up, inside out, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. What is that, right? The government creates a problem. Okay. 9/11 was a problem. They create it. They already have the solution, but they can't just go, hey, we got all this stuff here, let's implement it. They need something to trigger what they want. Right? What did they want? They wanted control. They want control. That's what all this, what do you think COVID's about? Control. Wear a mask. Stand here, go there, vaccine here. Get on. You can't, it's all about control. That's what the New World Order, that's what the devil is. He wants to control you. He wants to bring you away from God. He wants to move you down the road to his path. I won't wear a mask. I have not worn a mask since this whole shit began. Because I know, I was calling this thing a sham last March. Everybody, what do you mean a sham? My dad died of COVID last August, okay? My dad died of this disease, and it's still a fucking sham because I know what they're doing. My girlfriend's grandmother just died 2 weeks ago after she got the vaccine. She's in El Reno at a retirement center, St. Catherine's Retirement Center. Got the vaccine on Monday, the 12th. Sick, died 2 weeks later. How many people are sick in that St. Catherine's? About 20. And they're trying to blame it on some guy bringing food. I'm like, and you won't hear about it on the news. I'm like, you mean to tell me that all the people that work there don't go to home. They don't go to restaurants, and they come back to work for this last 10, 12 months. No one's gotten sick, and all of a sudden you get the vaccine, and they're blaming on some guy that bought food. Fuck you. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. I get really irritated. And the thing is people will eat this up and believe it. So here's the thing. 9/11. The government has what they need over here to get the New World Order going, right? The engine was turned on by 9/11. So they create a crisis. So now what do we get? We got the Patriot Act, right? Takes away our sovereignty. Got NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act. No rights to trials, anything like that, right? Jade Helm, okay? George Bush must have been the most unluckiest president ever. Why do I say that? He had two major crises happen under his watch. 9/11 and the financial crash. They booked into his administration, right? It's all planned, folks. Financial crash was nothing. It was just a bunch of sophistry. What happened then? Created a crisis, right? 9/11 created a crisis. Jade Helm, Patriot Act, NDA, and a lot of those ancillary things that come out from the tentacles from what's going on, taking your freedoms away. And we just sat back, yeah, fuck those Muslims, kill them, right? I'm like, no, God, no. Is Islam a bad religion? Maybe. Is Catholicism a fucking bad religion? How many people they killed during the conquest? I mean, come on, folks. All religion's a man-made social construct. Okay, religion. I don't need. God wants us to congregate. Yes, it's in the Bible, right? Three or more, right? Got it. I understand that, but I don't need somebody to tell me how to get to God, get through to Jesus Christ, right? I don't need you. You don't need church. Churches are good. Okay, they serve a purpose, but religion is a man-made social construct. So is this all bad? Okay, yeah, they've done some bad shit. Is Buddhism bad? Yeah, they've done some bad shit. We've all done bad stuff, man. Get off the religion thing. Move on, because it's not what it's about. It's about the New World Order controlling what you're doing.
What do you think about the education system? Is it have a place in any?
You mean indoctrinational system?
Yeah, that's right. Direct. That is the educational system.
Yeah. What do you see in a classroom? Okay, so I'm Muslim, you're Christian, you're Buddhist, right? We're supposed to get along. You eat fish, I don't eat meat, whatever, right? Coexist, right? So why are we supposed to coexist with everything that's going on? And I say the world's flat, and all of a sudden I'm a pariah. What happened to coexist? What do you listen? I'll tell you how deep all this stuff. Well, deep. I mean, how you can see it. What's in every classroom? From it disappears after 8th grade. Kindergarten to 8th grade. What's in every classroom? A globe.
Oh.
That's not now. And do you realize that's not only the United States? It's in Iran. It's in Russia. It's in Japan. It's in China.
So you think they're indoctrinating the Earth is round?
Oh, from day one. Why? To disprove the existence of God.
My thoughts are the education system's just not preparing anybody for the real world. There's no critical thinking. I think about when I was in middle school or high school. Of course, I'm not a good student, at all. I barely went.
I didn't like school.
But I think back of why I didn't do very well, and it was like they were teaching me all the stuff. Like I remember algebra in high school, and they were like, this is this and this and this, and I was always just like, why? Why are you teaching me this?
Yeah.
And we never got a why. It was just learn this.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't know why I need it, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to weightlifting up in Pete Turner's class.
Right.
And then I'm gonna go run around with my friends and throw eggs at each other.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna learn a bunch of stuff that there is no reason for. Why would I use this in my life?
Listen, my girlfriend and I were just talking about this last night, and we talked about it quite a bit. But Johnny Appleseed, learn about Johnny fucking Appleseed in school. Okay, guy lived from 1776 to 18, whatever it was. He planted trees. He was an environmentalist before we knew what environmentalism was, right? Why the hell do I need to know about Johnny Appleseed? Why don't you teach me how to divide, subtract, or whatever, or learn a trade? Trade schools are awesome. People used to make fun of UTI. I went to UTI. They taught me welding. Well, motherfucker, you can make a shitload of money instead of going and getting some degree from a college for indoctrinational studies in Boca Raton.
Left-handed puppetry.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
and it's sad because the kids that go to the counselors to learn. Now, if you're on a path, like if you're going to be a computer programmer or a code writer or a lawyer,
Yeah,
a
no, so
doctor,
there are certain,
there's a path for you there. But if you don't know your path, and then you go to the counselor to say, hey, what are some jobs out there that I could get? And what do I need to do to get there? These counselors went to high school, they went to college, and then they became a counselor.
right.
They haven't done anything.
They stayed in that bubble.
You don't have Bill Gates in there or even Mark Zuckerberg who's created something. They don't know what's out there either. So how are they going to tell these kids? And then you get to Occupy Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
You get a bunch of kids that got into a bunch of debt. Half of them got big student loans, and then they're out there trying to, they think when they get out of college, they're going to get a $80,000 a year job doing whatever. They have no plan. And then they don't even get hired because they have no skills.
Yeah.
Because they've never worked before.
Because they've been lied to.
Right. They've been lied to. And it's it's sad. It's sad. They need it. Man,
It's an indoctrination center.
They've got to get business people or somebody who's done something in their life to get in there to be a counselor, to be able to tell some kid, hey, what are you good at? What do you like? Well, this is the direction you need to go in.
No, it's all about no. When did the War of 1812 happen? Well, it was 1812, right? When did Napoleon invade France or what? Whatever. I've never used that fucking shit in my life since I forgot about it. Because it's right. They're not teaching anything in school.
But even history, they should say why you should.
It's revisionist
know
history
some
anyway.
history.
Oh yeah, no. Now history is important.
But they're rewriting the books now, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's revisionist history, man. Yeah, everything's a lie, deception, devil. He's there. He's everywhere. This
So
is his
what's
world.
up? What's up now? What's up with Jim Foster now? Where are you going? What do you? What lifestyle you living? You want to get into that or no?
Oh, well, I mean, same thing, man. Just I'm moving forward. I'm evangelizing about the flat Earth and the geocentric construct, because once you understand that it's geocentric, you understand everything. And all the lies. My girlfriend wasn't. She was heliocentric. She was around, and she is so on board now. Yeah, because she goes, oh my God, she had an epiphany, of last year. She goes, holy crap! Because when we first met, I was doing this video. I just met her, and we were supposed to go on a date, and her friends saw this video come across Facebook, and they're like, oh my God, what did he just say? The Earth's what? Oh my God, he's cute, but I thought I was crazy. So fast forward, we went on our date and blah blah blah. Now she is all on board. She sees it like it's right.
She's your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
If we're dancing or having dinner or something, and you start talking to somebody, she goes and says, "Hey, flat Earth here." Da 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 da.
Yeah,
she's like rounding people up that are around the table.
Yeah, we did that at Obar. Yeah, because sometimes we get a good group, man. And they're like, hey, listen, and I don't understand people that don't want to listen, because I understand if we're about to rock your round world, we're about to rock your world with what we're about to say. But at least be open. It's not like you don't have, what is that? You don't have the right. What's that whole thing? You don't have the right to be offended. You have the right to be offended, but there's no reason to be offended. I mean, just because I said it's flat, what's the big deal? There's this meme of Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Where where Johnny Depp's on the beach, he's running from all the guys behind him, right? And the meme is like, all I said was Earth was flat. Yeah. So
yeah, I just take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not part of that whole thing. But I just listen just to listen to you, because I know you. I'm just
it'll open up your whole world. So finish up with the George Bush thing, the 9/11. So it's all about control. This whole thing's about control. That's it. 9/11 happened. Then we get Obama, and we got healthcare. He said, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but I'm about to open your eyes on something. Think about our freedoms being taken. Okay? Who has to be in office? Who has been in office? Obama didn't really do anything to take any freedoms per se. I mean, he did healthcare, right? He was kind of a Clinton, really didn't do anything, right? Who? It's the Republicans. Has to be our guy, quote unquote. I'm not fuck them all, but Democrat, Republican, for everyone that's listening, Democrat, Republican is for a sheep down here at the bottom. Okay,
it's a machine, right?
The globalist agenda is up here. This is just down here for us. Think we have a choice? We don't have a choice. It's a big club, and we ain't in it, right? So it has to be Republican. So Nixon took us off the gold standard. Reagan, war on drugs, right? That's the biggest crock ever. I loved Reagan. I grew up in the 80s. 80s were freaking awesome.
80s was kind of scary if you watched a little TV, because we did, the Cold War.
Yeah, well, I mean, but still, no. I mean, that was a
You're a kid, so
that was a
didn't matter.
decade of positiveness, man. I mean, God. Then we had Clinton. Then we got George Bush. What happened under George Bush? Another Republican took our freedoms, right? Obama didn't know what happened under Trump. Took our freedoms, people, right? Because all the patriots supposedly, if a Democrat was in office and they were saying we're going to Hillary Clinton, we're going to do this, there would have been an uproar, right? But they get our guy in it, and it's hey, take this over here, Patriot Act here, got NDAA here. Trump, wear a mask. You got to stay inside. We're closing your business. Okay, Trump. Trump is what a Trump. Presidents are selected, not elected. Trump, I was 3 years in, doing great stuff. Economy's booming. I've never been so busy in my life, right? Trump. Then COVID hits, right? And then I'm looking at who he has around him still, and who he's keeping. Fauci. He keeps all these deep. We're supposed to drain the swamp. Bullshit. You haven't drained diddly, mofo. Okay. You still have all these swamp drill. Fauci. All of them around him, right? Listen to wear a mask. Masks don't do anything. Folks, let me tell you something. My uncle's a doctor. Stepmom's a nurse, 45 years. Mercy Hospital. ICU nurse. Doctor. MD doctor, Air Force, right? Masks do not do anything. It's a New World Order control mechanism. Okay, it's about control. It's a cult. It's a cult thing. Okay, mask is a cult thing. It's cultish, guys. Look it up. Has nothing to do with safety. Here's an analogy. Trying to stop a virus. And by the way, viruses aren't what we think they are anyway. But let's just go with what everybody believes, right? Stopping a virus with a mask is like trying to stop a mosquito with a chain link fence. Okay, they don't do anything. Zero. Makes you feel good. Huh? Where's your mask? Do it for me. What if I don't like you?
You know what I've noticed? I listen to a lot of medical and health and fitness podcasts, and there's a lot of scientists back in, I guess it was last summer, June, July. They talk about how to build your immune system up because they're getting all the data in how to beat COVID. And it's like, take your zinc, a little bit of zinc, take your vitamin D. All the people that are dying are low in vitamin D. And the other one has pre-existing conditions, and you don't hear.
But back up. No, back up. What did you just say? Vitamin D.
Yeah.
Right? Where are we? Cooped inside our fucking house. Can't get outside to the sun to get vitamin fucking D.
Well,
come on.
I went and bought vitamin D, and I'm spending a lot of time outside. Of course, we're in Oklahoma, so we have less restrictions here than California. California, I think, is literally you can't go outside without a mask or something crazy.
In Australia, same thing. But if I still live in California, I would be going ballistic.
I know you would. You'd be dead. You'd be going bonkers. But the like all this data is in, and I hear it last summer, and it's nothing here. Nobody on the news is saying anything about anything. Vitamin D is not really a vitamin; it's a hormone. And it controls 80% of your body's functions. A lot of it. If you don't have vitamin D, you're dead.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just so I'll turn on the news just to see what kind of silliness they're doing because it's not really news. Anyway, they are the last 2 weeks I've seen they turn on the news and they're like, hey, vitamin D for if you're pregnant, you need to make sure you have vitamin D in your system because all these problems can happen with the baby and all this. And I'm just like, where y'all been?
Right. Yeah.
For a year.
Man.
It's like people have died probably because of
the
lack of information you guys are putting out.
I was saying earlier about, hey, I will talk to y'all. I won't lead you, person. I'll walk with you. Right. I'm the guy. I said, hey, where are all the good guys at? I've been asking that. Where are all the good guys at?
Right over there.
We're sitting here. But here's the thing. I always go back to this. It's God's plan. It's a new world order. It's going to happen. Yeah. Revelations. The devil's here. Blah blah blah. There's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we do is wake people up if we can, if they'll listen.
I think this is a good place to wrap it up. I got to have you back soon, though.
Okay, cool, man.
And if people want to follow you, where can they follow you at? You're not on Instagram. You're just Facebook.
Just Facebook. Yeah. Yeah.
People
Well,
can follow you on Facebook.
yeah. Jim Foster.
Jim Foster.
Jim Foster. Yeah. Yeah. Just if you can't find me, whatever, just reach out through to Kurt here, or whatever.
Just message.
Yeah.
Message us.
And my new one's
there.
Foster James, because I have to switch shit around because somehow they're connecting. You know, I guess facial recognition, they're connecting all the shit. So now I say something on this one, everybody gets banned.
That
like,
guy.
yeah.
Again. It's David at Groovy saying, "Nah, don't let him."
Yeah.
on
No.
Facebook."
Nope. Click. So, well, thank you very much,
Thanks
man.
for coming, man. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Toodles.
Toodles.